We're live.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next cast assessment for Big Brother Pasio. Um, so right now it's final three, and our final three is Renee, Lucas, and Kaylee. So last week, since the last cast assessment, we had final four veto results where Renee won and then she evicted Arya, and then Renee and Lucas won part one and two of Final HOH. Um, So I guess going back to last week with Arya leaving, do we think Renee made a good decision by evicting Arya over Kaylee?
Most definitely. I think Arya was obviously the biggest threat to win. She could win a competition. Um, if she didn't get Arya out then Arya probably would have won the game. So I think it was a very, very good move on her part.
Also, Arya's speech, like, good on her for like putting her case out there, but it was maybe the best eviction speech I have ever heard. So I think if anyone willingly chose to potentially have that person again from the final two, they were crazy. Because Arya, like Lucas said it in his goodbye message to her, she had like a State of the Union address. Like she had like this full-on political speech. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, especially that. Like, she's a very good talker. She's just very like an amazing all-around player. I think it was kind of nice for Renee to take Arya out because Arya wanted Renee out the week prior, so it really just makes Renee's status even better. Like, her winner status could just, yeah, be better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was 150% the best decision for anyone's game to evict Arya because she was playing hands down the best game and would have steamrolled anyone left. So yeah, and her like I have to say like that speech that she gave at the end like was so good. It was one of the best eviction speeches that I've ever heard. So, I think Arya played such like a good game that it was just too good. Like she just had to go.
Yeah, ran out of lives, poor baby.
Yeah. But she came really close, so usually people who play that way like don't make it to like fourth. Like usually they get out like eighth or seventh.
Hmm.
So good for her.
Good for
Um
Arya.
Now it's Lucas, Renee, and Kaylee. Kaylee's definitely a final nom. She broke the nom record and broke the
Woo!
career record for noms and
Fuck.
season. Um, so what do we think is the best move, I guess, for both Lucas and Renee? Like, is it smart for them to cut the other or to cut Kaylee?
I think at this point, it's not as clear cut as I would have thought like a round ago. But I do think for both of them, they should take each other, just because Kaylee has a fan base on the jury that is beside with her and will vote for her regardless. Owen, Jules, Kate, Monty, to some extent Johnny. She has this block of votes that she will never lose, so it's risky to take it to the end.
I think honestly though, I'm not quite sure like what the best move is because I do think that even though Kaylee has probably the best jury management and does have those locked votes, but do we know if she's a very good speaker? And like, can she describe her game well? Will she be able to answer questions well? Like, it's a pretty big jury. And so I don't know, I think in a different scenario, Kaylee could go to the end, kill the questions, win the game, easy. But in other cases, I could definitely see Kaylee going to the end and then like fumbling on her words, not being able to explain her game, and then that's where she'll lose some votes. But I think it's the safest option to just like for them to take each other.
I think the jury won't care is the thing. Like I think Kaylee could have like a worse Q&A performance than like anyone in the series, like worse than me and Ore, and still like the jury would the block of votes she has will vote for her regardless.
Yeah, but like, I mean, good for Kaylee. She has made such like good allies throughout the game that have been rooting for her and jury. That's a very good thing about her game. Um, I feel like if she makes it to the end somehow, it's just going to be like the swing votes, like Nathan and Yusuf, people who want to hear more. I don't think Kaylee's going to be able to provide the more they want.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Kaylee did make a lot of really good bonds in this game to put her in a good position, but I do see merits, especially. I don't think it's smart for Lucas to bring Kaylee to the end because that makes no sense. But I think I could see a scenario where Renee would think that bringing Kaylee to the end is the best bet since they're both winners and since like Kaylee's sometimes not the most eloquent when it comes to like speaking like in finale. Um, so I still think that Renee's best bet is to take Lucas if she wants to win, but I also could see a path for her. It's very, very hard, very unlikely to beat Kaylee because I do think that like Jules, Monty, Kate, Owen are like 100, Nathan even too, maybe, Kaylee or Johnny even too, um, could be 100% locked on her regardless of who she's next to. Um, so I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, but I do think that there's like a 99% chance Kaylee gets evicted.
Yeah, it's just very interesting, like a case study of Kaylee in general. Like you put those statistics on anybody else, that's a guilt. But like Kaylee has done a very good job of turning the worst into her best.
Yeah, I think it's a very good underdog situation. And yeah, even though she hasn't really done much in the game besides survive, I feel like surviving is very impressive with her circumstances.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I guess this is like the final cast assessment, so I guess we can just say like our thoughts on the season in general. So I guess I'll go first. I like genuinely, even though like there were rocky moments this season, like this was a really good season. Like usually games like one side gets power, they pick the entire other side off, the other side is like weak and feeble, and then they like go to jury, they turn on each other, it gets messy, and then like the end is predictable. Whereas this game was so tumultuous, like week after week the other side was getting power and they were putting people up and then the other side would win and then all of that. So I think like we were really lucky to have an interesting pre-jury and jury phase of the game. It didn't
Hmm.
ever fizzle out. And like unpredictable things happened. Like I would have never predicted the boot order for this game in a million years. So I think it's really cool that we had a season like that and it's really nice to see um like never mind, I won't say that. Someone else can go.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I think this was a very entertaining season. There was never a dull moment. And I think that like regardless of like all the shitty things that did happen, that the gameplays wise, it was amazing. And I also think that the twist has a lot to do with it. I think that having like the option to go for immunity like made so many people like I don't know, made the people who really wanted to win HOH and then make those big moves that they wanted to make. So I don't know. I think I was really impressed by a lot of the people's gameplay, and I think that it's definitely one of the top seasons for sure.
Yeah. The season was cool too because a lot of the newbies were really, really, really strong. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't, we've had like Galar the newbies were strong, but like they didn't they didn't I feel like they didn't use their potential in the game
Hmm.
besides a few of them. But like this season it's like all the newbies for the most part like that made it deep into the game like really played their best.
Yeah, like I obviously haven't got the same amount of like seasons to compare it to because this is the first one which I've seen from like a hosting perspective. But I think as someone that's been a newbie in this same format of half and half, the newbies in RA, we kind of bumbled our way and ended up kind of the newbies in RA kind of skated by underneath the returnee wall. And this time it was the newbies taking shots at the returnees, doing it themselves. Like there are so many really strong newbies that should be really proud. And I think it's looking like Final Two will be Renee and Lucas. And I think either way, I'm really at peace with the winner. I think both of them have played hard, kept it fun, had influence across the season, and it's just been a really fun season to play out. And the fact that all the jury is such a mix of characters and they're all invested, and it's just been a really, really good season.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, no, I kind of just want to like talk to the people who are watching this. Like, sure, this season has its fair share of like controversies or whatnot, but in retrospect, like this, in my opinion, is one of my favorite seasons of like the whole entire series. Like, there's so much content. Everyone played their heart out, from Sydney to Arya being evicted. Like, it was just engaging. Everyone had fun. There were a lot of heated moments, but like in retrospect, that's like what makes the game fun. And I hope like the people who played this season, either newbie or returnee, are like able to like even value like the shitty parts of the game, because like this is authentic Big Brother. Like Big Brother Pokemon is such a pressure cooker, and it's an intense game, and it was a great game, and I love it.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I don't know. Like I feel like yeah, there were scandals, but like that shows that people like were invested in the game enough to like care about things that happened in the game, I guess. Like if no one cared about the game, then like the things that would happen wouldn't really matter to anyone, I guess. So like they wouldn't get upset over it. So I don't know. Like I also think too that once you like take a step back and like time goes by, it's like okay, well it's done. You know, like it didn't the scandals like weren't the most important thing that happened this season. And I'm glad that most of the people on the cast didn't let that overshadow the rest of the game. And I think that that's why the rest of the season was so good, was because once something happened and it was handled, like that was the end of it for most people. And it wasn't like people were playing based upon things that were already like handled in a way. But yeah, I do think that this was very top tier. And a lot of people, like almost everyone, like put in a ton of effort into the game in one way or another. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting that the final three have all been in a BU Pokemon like Q&A and like finale before.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to see like how people are gonna approve, like what they're gonna prepare. Like I don't know. I feel like since it's gonna be everyone's basically second time and two of them won, like it's gonna be interesting to see like how they answer questions and how they explain their games since this is their second time doing it.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead, Brandy.
No, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no, like looking at the final three, like you could really like make a map, and like they connect, like all the final three connects to the jury in some way. Like it's kind of up in the air still, even though Kaylee does have such a big voting block. In my opinion, I feel like it's still anybody's game. It's gonna come down to how they answer the questions.
Yeah, it's the jury's full of such volatile people who are like, as we do this cast assessment, they are fighting in the jury chat. Like, my. It's very interesting watching a jury of such diverse opinions, but my only concern is that it's going to become a case of jurors don't like each other, so they're not going to want to vote for who the other one wants to win, and it's going to become a that situation.
Hmm.
But I think it's interesting to have such a diverse jury.
Yeah, I definitely think regardless of who's in the end, it's gonna be a split vote, either 6-5 or like 7-4 or something like that. I definitely think the runner up isn't gonna get like 0 votes. So it's nice to see that like everyone in the final three has their own supporters.
Mm-hmm. And like to the people out of the three who get third or second, like y'all played a good game, and like
Yeah,
it's a good game. Like I feel like there's no goat in the situation. Like everyone in the final three deserves to win for different reasons.
yeah, for sure. I think too that like all three of them really improved on their last time that they played. Like Lucas like really, really blew my expectations and played really well. And played a game that could land him a win. Renee definitely improved from her Sinnoh game where she kind of won by default, and now she has a case to actually like win based on like 100% merit and like redeem herself. And then Kaylee too, because Kaylee and Kalos got kind of fucked. So this time she really like people want to vote for her to win the game. Like that means that she did something right along the way. So it's kind of cool that there's no one that like. That's why I kind of am glad that Kat got evicted before now, because it's like even though her game was deserving of the win, like it's refreshing to see people making cases for all three of the final three and not just like one or two.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember the last time that we had a final three. Sorry. That we had a final three that, like, everyone had a chance at winning, you know? Like, I don't know, because it's at least the past few seasons, there's always been, like, a GOAT or, like, somebody that the jury just, like, hates. And so, like, it's very exciting to see that, like, going into the finale that, like, we don't even know who's gonna win. And I don't think we've had that probably since Ore.
Yeah, and it's like it's just interesting also that last time in RA it was all newbies in the end game, and this time it's all returnees. That's just an interesting like
Yeah.
dual timeline thing.
Yeah, and the narrative of like returnees versus newbies, like when you do half and half, it kind of like erases it. Because like I remember even playing in Ore, I wasn't like playing with returnees. I was playing with everyone. So it's like when you do these like half and half, it just changes the game. Like it's like everyone sees each other as an equal. It's not like target returnees, target newbies.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I literally, um, like, sorry, I was reading the jury chat. So I literally love like half and half split seasons because, like you said, like even though it's half newbies and half returnees, people really, um, like the lines kind of dwindle down because it's not like in Galar where like there were 6 of you so you had to stick together. It's like there's half and half so you can kind of do what you want. Um, I just feel like having returnees in newbie seasons really just like elevates the game because returnees know how high the stakes are, especially as they approach their third and final time playing, and it makes like the newbies care more because they see the returnees caring more. And at least that's what's happened. At least like I'd say every season that we've had returnees and newbies mixed on, like it just elevates the game to a new level. And that definitely happened this season because I think a lot of like had it been just newbies, like the game would have been good because we did have good newbies this season, but it wouldn't have been as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, definitely returnees. Like, I love returnees, I think. Because, you know, with newbies, you never know what you're going to get. It's always a gamble, casting new people. And so, like, I don't know, throwing in returnees in the season, it made it so good. Like, I 100%, if this season was full newbies, I don't think it would have been as intense or as, like, crazy as it was. I feel like they're probably, like, the Arya, Caleb, like, those type of people would have just ran the game completely and they would have had no struggle. Because even Arya with the returnees ran the game and had no struggle. So it's really, I don't know. I feel like it was really, really entertaining to watch.
Yeah. I don't know. I just really love this season. Like, were there moments where I wanted to like jump off a cliff? Yeah. But a lot of the seasons that were really good had those like lows and then had those highs. And I think this season definitely had both. And I think people are going to look back on it. Maybe not people who watch the season because I feel like this season just didn't have like an active viewership besides maybe a few people. And maybe that's why it was better as the game went on because less people were watching it, so it was less like VL interaction. Um, but I think this season's definitely going to be regarded as like a top tier, at least by me moving forward.
Yeah, it's a lot like Ore. It's just like I played in Ore. I kind of hated it, but like looking back at it, like I had so much fun in Ore, and like Pasio. I guess it's because I'm host like interning, but like it's just I love it. I love this game. This season's so much fun. It's so good.
I feel like I was in the cast. Like during the, I've never felt so invested. Like in classes, I would be like genuinely angry if stuff was happening that I thought was wrong, and like I've never felt like that as a host, which has been great.
Yeah, that's definitely part of like hosting the series is so you get so invested. Like not that you're like you want I don't know, you want to see people who are the underdogs like succeed, I guess. Or like when someone's making a bad move for themselves, you're like, "No, like don't." Um like there's just some moments like in Galar when Lynn was about to put up Anna Jane with the Emerald Power of Veto. Me and Julie were literally like sweating. We were like, "Please God." It's like that. You have moments like that where it's just like what's going to happen? Like when Kat, we had no clue who she was going to renominate, and then she just said it was like between three people, and then she said Monty, who wasn't even like on her list. Like moments like that are what makes it like fun.
Yeah, it's just like this season, great TV in my opinion.
Yeah.
Gameplay kind of wonky, but like TV value, like 100%, like 10 out of 10, amazing. There were so many like shocks. There was so much entertainment. I love it.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else to add before we wrap up?
Sydney Hicks was robbed.
Queen, I wish she was on Discord. She would have literally snapped. The whole season would have been so
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, had Makala gone first.
Ooh.
If only.
I feel like in an alternate universe that would have been so good, but
Can't always get what we want.
so I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Goodbye.
Adios.
Go.